All right, so today we're going to be learning about solving proportions. And so let's go ahead and take a look at the problem up here. It says Hewen plans to run 14 laps. Each lap is 400 yards. She has run 1,680 yards. What percentage of the run did Hewen complete? So we're going to go through and read it again because we want to make sure that we're using rubies. Hewen plans to run 14 laps. Each lap is 400 yards. She has run 1,680 yards. What percentage of the run did Hewen complete? So now, before we can do that, we're actually going to have to do another step. Before we can even think about those proportions, we're going to have to figure out, well, we're given yards, but they're talking to us in laps. So we actually need to figure out how many laps did she run. So let's go ahead and figure that out first. So she ran 1,680 yards. And we're going to divide that by 400 because that's how many are in each yard. So once I divide 400 into 1,680, it's going to tell me how many laps she has. So my answer is going to be laps. So let's go ahead and take a look. 400 goes into 1,680. Well, I don't know how many times it's going to go in. I know that it's not going to go into 1. I know it's not going to go into 16. It's not going to go into 168. So what I'm going to do, since 4 is an easy number for me to count by, I'm going to count by 400s. 400, 800, 1,200, 1,600. Now that I have this, I can stop because I know that's where I'm trying to go. So I can see it went in 1, 2, 3, 4 times. But as I can see, it did not go in evenly, so this is going to tell me that I'm going to have a decimal over here. So I'm going to put some more zeros. 4 times 400 is 1,600. I subtract, and I'm left with 80. I bring down my 0. 400 goes into 800 2 times, and if I didn't know that, I can look back at my chart that I already used. So I put my decimal point and 2. 2 times 400 is 800. I subtract, I'm left with 0. So now we know that she has completed 4 2/10 laps. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual question. So now I had to do a little bit of pre-work before I could actually get to answering the question. So I know that we're talking about laps. So now that I'm ready to answer this question and find out what percentage, I know that it gave me the whole. I know that it gave me the part. And I converted this part to laps over here. I also know that all percentages are out of 100. So when I set up my proportion, I know that I'm going to have 2 fractions that equal each other. I'm going to have a part, a whole, a percent, and 100. Well, I don't know what my percent is. That's what I'm trying to find out. So I'm going to put my variable there. Well, my part is 4 2/10 laps. And my whole is 14 laps. Now that I've set up my proportion, I'm ready to cross multiply to solve, isolate x. 4 2/10 times 100. 4 2/10 times 100 is equal to 14x. Well, now I need to solve this problem, and since I know that I'm multiplying, my number is going to get bigger, and I have 2 zeros, I'm multiplying 100, I can use the power of 10, so I'm going to move this decimal point 2 places to my right, so that number gets bigger. I end up with 420 is equal to 14x. Now I'm ready to solve for x by dividing both sides by 14. When I divide this side by 14, x comes down by itself. I bring down my equal sign, and now I need to divide 420 by 14. So I come back over here, come to the side, 420. Let's put some extra zeros over here since last time we needed those. We're going to put 14 on the outside. That's my dividend. 14 can't go into 4, so that's 0. 14 can go into 42, but I don't know how many times. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look. 14, and I'm going to count. 14 plus 14 is 28. And then if I add 14 to 28, well, let me see. So if I add 4 to 28, that gets me to 32. I have 10 left over from that, so that means 42. So 14 goes into 42 3 times. 3 times 14 is 42. It goes in evenly, so I'm left with 0. I bring down the remaining 0 from my dividend, and 14 goes into 0 times. So my answer is x is equal to 30%. And there you have it.